A comeback falls short for the Raptors as they lose to the undermanned Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's go to the film room.
The only thing that's originally filmed is that and I've studied older films and tried to figure out how I got that impression. I always get amazed when I'm in the cutting room.
The unique thing about film is an art form
exactly.
is the editing.
So the Raptors really struggled to penetrate this Oklahoma City Thunder defense, especially getting in the paint and especially getting Brandon Ingram the ball. The Raptors had 16 turnovers tonight. They got outscored in the paint once again. And I think a lot of that was failing to get Brandon Ingram the ball in the post. Post-entry passes were really difficult for them. Again, OKC is a very elite defense, but these are just moments where like these kind of lob passes, right, are really, really easy for the scrambling defense of OKC to intercept. So boom, turnover happens, OKC out and running. And if you look at it, the Thunder really made it difficult for him to get to his spots in general. So Lou Dort was the primary defender on Brandon Ingram. Lou played extremely physically on BI. And this is a common action the Raptors use for Brandon Ingram, whether it's this screen, this step-up screen to get up above the break, or this kind of cross screen to get him into the mid-post area. It's an option screen where he can basically decide which way he wants to go. He's trying to escape Lou Dort, and the Raptors just can't get him the ball. And so the shot clock keeps winding down because the one and only option the Raptors have in the half court is Brandon Ingram. And even when they did get him the ball, watch his position. I mean, ideally, Brandon Ingram would like to catch this ball here, but Lou pushes him all the way out, and now he's catching it above the three-point line, which makes it a lot harder for BI to operate. So he's now dealing with the ball handling of ball pressure of Lou Dort. And watch as the help defense is already keyed in on trying to steal this ball. Isaiah Joe is already focused on trying to go for it. He's completely comfortable leaving Jamal Shed above the break. The help defense is locked in to be able to do that. So as you see, boom, Isaiah Joe scrambles, steals this ball, forces another turnover. Now, the inverse of that is these quick off-screen actions, which the Raptors thrive at, and getting Brandon Ingram easier looks. So here, just a quick step-up screen for him. BI catches. It gives him just the right amount of daylight to get into this mid-range jump shot. Similar situation here where option screen, and he gets it. This is a pretty good shot for Brandon Ingram. All things considered, in a clutch moment, that's a pretty comfortable shot for him. Now, contrast that earlier in the game where no screens are set for Brandon Ingram here. It's just one-on-one in the mid-post area against Lou Dort. Now a pick and roll for him to flow through, and yet still it's this contested off the dribble jump shot instead of something coming off a screen where it's off of the ball. I think that is the major difference in terms of how the Raptors are executing in the half court, especially when it comes to getting Brandon Ingram easier looks. And this is sort of my whole spiel for this episode of the Film Room, folks. Good offenses consistently get easy shots. They consistently get quality looks. And the Raptors, unfortunately, are not a good offense, and they don't get good or quality looks. As I have mentioned a lot, they take and make a lot of difficult jump shots, specifically mid-range jump shots between Brandon Ingram and between Scotty Barnes. And that's what they rely on. You know, of course, it would be great. RJ Barrett and his rim pressure is great. He had a great game tonight, 21 points. He ended up knocking down 4 threes as well, which helped with some of the 3-point variance that the Raptors were dealing with from the Thunder's perspective. Thunder shot 40% from 3 tonight. They were excellent from 3 in this game. RJ and Emmanuel quickly combined to make 8 threes tonight. That was a huge part of kind of like the 3-point variance bounce that the Raptors had in their favor. That being said, the rest of their half-court offense was lackluster, and they couldn't get into the paint enough for them to be able to score, and because they weren't able to get into the paint enough, they also had to rely more heavily on their mid-range jump shots, and those are very feast or famine at this point. It's either you're taking and making tough mid-range jump shots or you are missing them. And against OKC, most of the time you're going to be missing those jump shots. And so we saw a Raptors team that got outscored against the Oklahoma City Thunder by 20 points in the paint. Actually, 18 points in the paint, excuse me. And I think that's the big difference in this game. It's actually the big difference for the Raptors season in general. When the Raptors are not able to dominate on the inside, when they are not able to win the points in the paint battle, they end up losing that game. It is just a tried and true recipe so far this season for the Raptors. If they cannot match and exceed a team physically, then they will lose that game. It's been something that has been prevalent in basically every single game for the Toronto Raptors, and it does come up against the best teams in the NBA. We saw it against the Detroit Pistons that were elite at forcing turnovers, playing physical, getting out and running. We have now seen it against the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight, a team that's point of attack defense is elite, that with Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein in the paint can really limit how much you get inside the paint. And so overall, when the Raptors aren't able to just dominate through their sheer size and physicality, they cannot get a W. They cannot score against the best teams in the NBA. And that's what comes up consistently for this group. Now, I will say, this is also a game where we saw them flex their muscles in different ways. They got off to an incredible start in the first quarter. It felt like they were really going to impose themselves again physically, forcing turnovers, getting out and running. Their transition game looked really, really good. They also had a stretch in the fourth quarter where they went on an 18-0 run, and a lot of that, again, was fueled by turning the ball over. Scotty Barnes had 7 stocks in this game. Most of those stocks were in that fourth quarter as he was propelling the Raptors' defense, getting stops, forcing turnovers, getting out in transition, and helping the Raptors win the possession battle. Those are the ways that the Raptors win games. It's not for this over-reliance of half-court offense. And while they do look to Brandon Ingram pretty consistently in the half-court, and B.I. has been exceptional in terms of his role for this team, being a tough shot maker, it's hard to rely on that consistently. And so I come back to, how do you get easy shots? How do you get easy looks for your offense? It's something that, truthfully, you might come back and say, well, how does Darko Rajakovic address that? Or is it a roster problem? Or is it something that this roster just does not have the talent requisite, especially offensively, to be able to score as often as they want? And truthfully, for me at least, it comes down to their role players not being able to take and make shots as frequently as you want them to. Now, for what it's worth, tonight, Jacoby Walter was exceptional in this game. Jacoby ended up knocking down 5 threes in this one, and we'll get to Jacoby in a second. He had 17 points. He was a big, big boost for this team, especially in the third quarter as they were kind of keeping within striking distance in this game. As I mentioned earlier, RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley both hit their shots tonight. They both knocked down 4 threes. RJ had 21 points. Emmanuel Quickley had 17. But if you look at the rest of their roster, it feels like it's feast or famine every now and then. So Mamu had a poor game tonight. He only played 15 minutes, he only had 1 3-point shot that he made. Jamison Battle came in, played about 9 minutes. By the way, also, he has usurped Grady Dick in the rotation, it seems, at least temporarily. He's now played, 10 minutes in this game. Grady Dick has played 5 minutes in this game. And so you're seeing Darko Rajakovic sort of search for answers in terms of shot making from the rest of this group, because there is so much pressure on BI to do everything, because there's so much pressure on Scotty Barnes to do everything. And because those two guys are the focal point of your offense, you need shot making outside of them to be reliable. And Emmanuel Quickley has played very good recently, very well recently. And it's a testament to him. His shot making has been fine. It's been very good. RJ Barrett bounced back tonight in a major way, but you need more. I don't know what else to say. You just need more. You need more shot making. You need more guys to be able to knock down their shots. If you were to compare it to Oklahoma City tonight, where Isaiah Joe goes completely off and Lou Dort has clutch moments in that mid-range area to end this game. Alex Caruso ended up with 16 points tonight. There is a level of variance to what you can get from the Thunder on a night-to-night basis. And of course, I'm comparing them to the defending champions here, but there's a level of variance that you can get from what they provide on a night-to-night basis and how extremely talented that team is, how much of a threat they pose offensively, any of them really. It's different than the guys that the Raptors have, where you're kind of hoping that Jacoby Walter is able to knock down his shots. You're hoping for Jamal Shed to be able to knock down his shots. You're hoping for a good Mamu game. It's a little bit different than being guaranteed to have a good Isaiah Joe game or a good Aaron Wiggins game or a good Alex Caruso game or Lou Dort game or whatever. It feels a little bit more guaranteed, as they would say. Anyways, Jacoby Walter was awesome in this game, and he knocked down 5 threes, which I think is a big testament to his growth as a three-point shooter. That is what's going to make him earn and get his minutes for this Toronto Raptors team. 4 of those 5 threes were corner shots, and so all of those opportunities that he had were drive and kick scenarios, whether it's Scotty Barnes driving and kicking it to the weak side or Brandon Ingram in that mid-post area, recognizing that the defense is sagging off of the corner, hitting Jacoby in the corner, or a drive from Jamal Shed and a kick out to the corner, or RJ Barrett wraparound pass to Jacoby in the corner. There was one moment where he hit an above the break 3, and that was at the end of the third quarter to kind of spur on the Raptors' run, but overall, the shot making from Jacoby has been a very, very, it's a blessing in disguise here for the Raptors. And I think ultimately, not even a blessing in disguise, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. But ultimately, that's what they want to see moving forward with this Raptors team, and especially with Jacoby Walter. It's how can you get consistent shot making from that position? Because clearly you haven't been able to get it from Grady Dick. Jamison Battle has been on and off. Hopefully, if he gets more consistent run, then he gets more consistent run. That's great. But the guy that I think they should be and will be leaning on more is Jacoby Walter. And so it's great that he's knocking down his shots like this. I would be remiss to not mention that Scotty Barnes injured himself at the end of this game, near the end of this game. He was driving, and I believe he got Charlie horsed. I couldn't necessarily see it on the replay in the arena, but he got Charlie horsed, and he was kind of on the bench holding his thigh / knee area. He got checked out by the training staff, and he still went back into the game. He did not look like he was actually good to play in the game, truthfully. He was hobbling around for the rest of the game. It was only like a minute left, but ultimately he didn't look good, and it seemed like he was playing hurt. We got told afterwards that Scotty has a right quad contusion and that he'll be questionable for the Spurs game that they're playing on the second night of a back-to-back. Now, Jakob Poeltl will be back for that game, but it seems I would assume that there will be no Scotty Barnes for that game. Who knows? Maybe he's completely fine. Maybe that quad is all right. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully it's nothing that forces him to miss some time, because that would obviously be so detrimental to this Toronto Raptors team, and especially where they're at right now, kind of vying for playoff positioning. Folks, as always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do the things you guys usually do to make sure Raptors Republic gets out to more people. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for the San Antonio Spurs. That should be a great game. Truthfully, regardless of whether Scotty plays or not, because Victor Wembanyama is in town, and that's always exciting. So thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate you as always. We'll see you next time. Peace out.